What the f*** is that?
What's up guys, Rust Daddy here. After my last base design for Duo and Trio, some of you have asked for something a bit more suited for a larger group. Ever since then I've been working on the biggest, meanest and the most badass Zerg base for vanilla. So without further ado, I present you Colossus. Before I go into details about the base, full disclosure, if you're looking for a cheap and easy to build base, you should stop watching right now, as this base is not for the weak-hearted and is purposed for only well-organized 24-man Zergs, so you best be ready for the ultimate base building challenge. Moreover, bear in mind that this is going to be an expert build, so throughout the video I will assume that some of the building steps like placing shelves for the loot rooms at half height, upgrading or even finding good spots for traps and auto turrets are self-explanatory. Instead, I will focus on showing how to build the base in its final tier and suggest the optimal building sequence to do so. Finally, I should note that there will be numerous points throughout the base that may be modified in order to fit yours and your teammates' playstyle. This includes but is not limited to roof access, tower, and even battlements. For this reason, it is difficult to pinpoint the exact build and upkeep costs. Nonetheless, be prepared to invest anywhere from 1.4 thousand HQM, 230,000 metal, 200,000 stone, and 100,000 wood to build the base. With the main and 6 external TCs combined, the upkeep will land at around 370 HQM, 85,000 metal, 50,000 stone, and 1k wood. The base was designed in line with ever-growing popularity of multi-TC concept that allows for huge base designs with yet somewhat decent upkeep time. In addition to that, each external TC comes equipped with Stairs building privilege transfer trick first shown by Evil Worst. The trick allows to easily disconnect each external TC from the remaining of the base if needed. This is very handy when trying to replace TCs that were for example destroyed in a raid. In such case, you can break the wooden foundation behind the armor stairs, replace the missing TC, and then simply place back all the wooden foundations to reconnect the structure. Given the complexity of the base, it is difficult to estimate the exact raid costs. Nonetheless, it would require roughly just under 600 rockets for a complete raid. Given that there would always be someone online, the said number would be higher as the conditions for the raid would always be suboptimal. Entrance into the base compound is through one of the 6 high external stone gates. Each of the entrance has an airlock and 2 additional garage doors leading to a narrow passage that can be used to funnel raiders into a series of traps. Each external TC is turned to a flanking base. At your entrance you have a double door airlock and shop fronts to provide good view of the surrounding inside the compound. On the main floor you can find spacious living space with 2 simple loot rooms, 4 beds and even lockers. Going up you will find airlocked roof access and battlements with optional shoot downs. Lastly, going deep inside the flanking base you have 2 sets of double stacked unlootable loot rooms that are each reached by a separate chute. Here you will also find wooden foundation for disconnecting TC privilege and access to the external TC room that may be easily turned into a suicide bunker for more secure storage. There is a total of 6 airlocked entrances into the main base. Here you will find drop chests and drop down entrances that may be stability sealed in case of an ongoing raid. A corridor passage connects 6 furnace bases around the main base. These come equipped with 12 large furnaces and 12 loot rooms for servicing. Following up the path you will find ladder hatches that lead all the way up to the top floor of the main base. Once on top you will see an example of a shooting floor which can be easily redesigned to fit yours and your teammates' playstyle. Here you will also find an entrance into the main living quarters that comprises of 2 floors. The first one is equipped with several lockers for raid defense and has access into the main bedrooms, each equipped with an additional locker and drop chests. Deep inside the bedrooms you will find chutes with triple stacked main loot rooms. The second living floor is reached by jumping down the chute from the first one. Here you will find several deployables including repair bench, research table and workbenches 2 and 3. Each of the chute leading down leads to a double stacked unlootable loot rooms except for one that has an access to a well protected main TC. Let's start building the base from the main base core. I should stress that before you begin, find the most flat piece of land like a frozen lake or a bay to build on. Start by building a hexagon core, making sure that the foundations are well off the ground and that you can place the raised foundations as well. Surround the hexagon with twig foundations and metal triangle foundations in between. Now place a TC on the armored triangle foundation and close it with armored walls and metal window frame with a reinforced glass window and metal embrasure. Then surround the hexagon with walls as shown. Place a wall frame at the entrance and then metal door frames leading to the TC. If possible, fit the door frames with armored doors and place a garage door at the entrance. Lastly, place metal half walls all around the core as shown with soft side facing the twig foundations, but skip one on the right side of the entrance. Next, we will be making the footprint of the external TCs. Begin by building 9 twig square foundations outwards. Come back with 4 triangle half moons and place a metal foundation at the end. Now repeat this process 5 more times around the core. Build out a metal foundation followed by a stone triangle foundation and 5 raised metal triangle foundations leading outwards. Place armor stairs facing inwards and a twig, metal, and armored foundation at the end. Then repeat this process 5 more times around the core. If the resources are still scarce, consider building the footprint of the external TCs one at a time. Once you're ready to continue, build the external TC footprint by placing metal foundations as shown. These will become the flanking bases. Now surround the armored foundation with 3 armored walls. Then place a TC on one side of the armored foundation closest to the edge towards the core and seal the structure with armored roof and window frame. Once done, repeat this process 5 more times around the core. As mentioned, each of the external TC rooms may be turned into a suicide bunker, so feel free to place your sleeping bags and storage containers already now. With most of the footprint complete, we will next start building the flanking bases that for the time being can serve as temporary main bases. At this stage, we still lack the security that is offered by the closed compound, so we will not be able to rely on cooking resources in large furnaces just yet. For this reason, you should concentrate on building the flanking bases as soon as possible and feel free to place all the temporary deployables such as research table, furnaces, and workbenches inside these. To begin, upgrade the twig foundation to wood and surround yourself with metal walls. Place an armored half wall on top of the armored stairs, then honeycomb the wood foundation with 2 layers of metal walls on the sides and place a wall frame in front. Now place a metal and armored wall on one side and an armored shelf in front of the TC room. Seal the shelf with half wall, honeycomb the back, and shape the loot rooms at the square foundations. Fill the rest of the structure with wall frames and triangle floors at half height, leaving the furthest triangles out. Then add garage doors and seal the roof except for the 2 triangles on the sides as shown. For the second floor, surround yourself with metal walls. Before you continue, place 2 shop fronts at the front, as you will not be able to place them later. Then continue shaping the interior of the base, including the 2 side loot rooms and shelves for the roof access. Fill the remaining of the structure with wall frames and finish the outside honeycomb. Lastly, add the doors including the 2 sheet metal double doors for an airlock and then seal the roof except for the 2 triangles on the sides. For the roof access, place walls to form the chutes and then add shelves at half height. Now place 6 wall frames in between. Before you continue, place 2 shop fronts and then add 2 more wall frames at the chutes. Finally, fill the wall frames with doors including the sheet metal double doors for an airlock and then seal the roof as shown. The flanking base is not finished yet, as we are yet to set up the living space and loot rooms and shape the battlements on the roof. To set up the unlootable loot room, stack 4 rugs in the middle and then place a shotgun trap on top. Now place large and small boxes as far in the back as possible and lock them, making sure that everyone gets the access before you close the room with the low wall. Finally, place a campfire in front to be able to reach the loot. You are free to fill the regular loot rooms on the second floor as you desire. Here, I filled them with large and small boxes like so. As mentioned earlier, the main living space of the flanking bases may be used for placing temporary deployables. However, eventually these are meant to be filled with beds and lockers for online raid mitigation. The battlements on the roof may be shaped in various ways. One suggestion is to have layers of window frames that are sticking out the walls of the base with intercalating door frames where possible. Fill the window frames with embrasures of your choosing and place sheet metal double doors to form the shoot downs. With the flanking bases now completed, you can finally have the entire team properly accommodated and farming for the next building stage. Next up, we will be concentrating on finishing the remaining footprint, which will vastly assist us in finally enclosing the entire structure behind compound walls. Applying the technique that I'm about to show you will make placing high external stone gates and high external stone walls extremely simple and reproducible. With certain amount of planning, this may be easily transferred to other types of footprints as well. Build 2 metal triangle foundations on each side with the most distal external TC foundations like so. Then fill in the gaps with stone triangle foundations. Going counterclockwise, build the raised triangle foundation here and follow with lower square foundations with 2 raised triangle foundations at the tips and lower triangle foundation on the side. Then break the 2 first twig foundations and upgrade triangle foundations to metal and square foundations to stone. Repeat the process on the other side and then all around the core. Position yourself in between 2 flanking bases and build out 1 lower triangle foundation followed by a square foundation outwards and 3 triangle foundations inwards on both sides. Now stand in the center like so and hold high external stone gate. You can hold Alt key and look up to make sure that the top cover is facing outwards. Then use the twig as a guide to place the gate in the center as close and flush to the twig as possible. Break the twig all the way to the first triangle foundation and place high external stone walls on the sides of the gate, aligning the stone part of the wall with the flanking base honeycomb. Now upgrade the twig triangle to stone and replace 1 square and 1 triangle foundation on both sides. Then once again reposition yourself in the center facing the gate and use the side foundations as guides to place 1 more high external wall as close and flush to the gate as possible. Lastly, build the wall frame with the garage door and an inwards facing floor triangle on top. Do the same on the other side. To place a metal barricade on top, climb a ladder, place a twig floor triangle on the side, place the barricade, and then break the twig. Before you continue, place all the gates and then go outside. Here you will need to build 2 high external stone walls on each side of the flanking base as close to the honeycomb as possible. Then finally connect the 2 parts with 1 more wall. If done correctly, there should not be any gaps left. Continue placing the remaining walls and then go back inside the compound to place stone walls on these 2 lower foundations to connect the entire footprint and prevent the decay. Finally, place your large furnaces in the middlemost part as shown. You can jump on the large furnace to better align the second furnace as close to the first one as possible. The goal is to have minimal gaps in between the furnaces and a tiny gap between the second furnace and these foundations. If you manage to place all the gates in large furnaces, you can pat yourself on the back as you've done a really good job. Nevertheless, do not get discouraged if you do not have all the 12 furnaces up and running just yet. Even with a handful of large furnaces cooking some serious metal, all within the safety and comfort of compound walls, now is the time to go big. So next up we will start building the main base. Place a garage door at the entrance of the core and then start by closing the exposed triangle foundations of the core by placing floor triangles and half walls as shown. Close the outer side of the empty squares with metal walls. Then connect the triangles by placing metal floors leaving out the square at the core. And start shaping the inner loot rooms by alternating between half and lower walls. Finally, close the ceiling with roof triangles and squares, keeping the squares above the loot room's twig for now. Once complete, honeycomb the hexagon core from atop by filling it with walls and half-height floor triangles. Then proceed shaping the next layer of loot rooms, only this time close the outer side of the loot room with half walls. Notice how the twig floors clip on the external TC side instead of the core. Lastly, place garage doors and stone floor triangles for leverage at the entrance to the loot rooms and the core. Next we will begin shaping the outer loot rooms. Begin by walling off the next square foundation as shown. This will become the triple stack loot room. Now wall off the 2 triangles on the sides of the square as shown. These will become the chutes. On top of the outer loot room, seal the backside with a floor triangle, place a wall towards the core and 2 garage doors on top of the square. Now repeat this process 5 more times around the base. Where needed, use ladders or twig stairs to get in and out of the base for now. For the next stage, place floor triangles into the chutes at half height. Once done, close the chutes with garage doors. Place wall frames and garage doors all around the corridor as well. Then once again, honeycomb the hexagon core. Before you continue, build out 1 more layer of walls around the base and extend the chutes leading to the next floor. Then close the floors as shown, once again making sure to clip the square floors on the external TC side. With the first living floor complete, let's begin shaping the bedrooms. Place a stone floor triangle inside the chute, then follow up with 2 garage doors on the side of the square. At the bedroom entrance, place a twig half wall and a door frame on top, then replace the twig with a metal low wall soft side facing towards the core. Begin sealing the roof of the bedroom as shown. However, before sealing it completely, consider placing the drop chest already now. If available, place a shotgun trap here and then close the room with a door. Eventually, this should be an armor door. Now repeat this process 5 more times around the base. The squares around the hexagon core will become half-height loot rooms. Shape these with half walls and twig floors as shown. Then finish sealing the floor. Once again, place floor triangles into the chutes and close them with garage doors. This time, seal the tops of the chutes as well. For the roof access, choose a side and place 2 metal walls at the hexagon core. Place 2 more on the opposite side. Then, shape an exit with 2 more walls and garage doors as shown. Repeat the process on the other side. Then seal the hexagon, leaving the 2 triangles for the passage open. Now place wall frames and garage doors all around the corridor and seal the roof. Finally, finish shaping the roof access by making chutes and placing garage doors and shop fronts as shown. If you are planning to build a tower, keep the triangles on top of the chutes open, as these may become the access points. With the structure more or less complete, next we'll be focusing on finishing the honeycomb, making a part of the entrance, and then furnishing the main base with loot rooms and bedrooms. Make 3 layers of metal wall honeycomb on the external TC metal triangle foundations closest to the main base. Then proceed shaping the entrance chutes. Place 2 garage doors on the sides here and follow up with half walls and a ladder hatch on top. Now add 1 more layer of walls and then half walls and follow up with another ladder hatch. Use triangle floors or ladders to get leverage here. Now go down and seal the stability bunker with the wooden half wall soft-sided towards the main base and then metal floor triangle on top. Finally, seal the front of the chute with 2 metal walls and a half wall. Then repeat this process 5 more times around the base. Now go back inside the main base and place ladders where needed. Then start shaping the main loot rooms. You can now break the twig floors and apply previously shown steps to set up each loot room stack one by one. Do not forget to clip the loot room floors and ceilings on the external TC side, leaving the gap between them and the hexagon core. For the outer loot rooms, proceed as previously described. Here you can choose from several loot room designs that you find most convenient. Set up the single stack loot rooms in front of the bedrooms as well. Then continue furnishing the bedrooms. If you align a locker under a garage door just right, you will be able to access it through the door. This may take several attempts, as pieces of locker may still be sticking out, thus may take damage when hit, so be sure to test it. Now finish setting up the bedrooms by placing 4 beds on the remaining 2 squares. Lastly, decide what to do with the chutes connecting the first and second living space. Here you can either seal the gap with the metal half wall or place a shotgun trap with the low wall in front. Continue furnishing the main base as described, and you should soon end up with the final product that will fit yours and your teammates' playstyle. To make things easier, I strongly recommend setting up a color code system that would clearly separate the 6 wings of the compound, including the flanking bases. This would allow for easier navigation around the compound and dramatically assist in orientation during an online raid. With the main base up and running, there's only a few things that are left to be done. So next we will focus on finally building the furnace bases, finishing the airlocked entrances for the main base, and then start decorating the roof with battlements. To build a furnace base, start by placing floor triangles into these gaps, half wall above the garage doors. Then, place a garage door under, finish 1 layer of stone wall around the perimeter, and place a garage door on the other side as well. Now place 1 more layer of stone walls and then half walls to match the heights. Then start sealing the roof with a layer of floor frames and a floor triangle in the middle. Place grills inside the frames and then make 1 more layer of frames half height above. Lastly, seal the ends with 3 floor triangles as shown and then finish placing the grills. You might need to remove and replace a large furnace under if you cannot place the triangles. Once done, repeat the process 5 more times around the base. Inside the furnace bases, set up loot rooms for servicing large furnaces. Here you can go with any loot room design that you desire, or even make additional stacks of the loot rooms. For completing the airlock entrances, place 7 wall frames and 1 wall as shown. Set up a loot room for drop chests. Then, fill the frames with doors including sheet metal double doors to form an airlock, and then 2 shop fronts in front. Finally, seal the roof. Now repeat this process 5 more times around the base. You have just improved the security of your entire compound. There is airlocked access into the main base, and the furnace bases not only provide security for the large furnaces and the loot, but also serve as an extra layer of honeycomb. If you're like me and feel paranoid about pickaxe raiding, feel free to upgrade the 2 upper front walls of the furnace base to metal. Moreover, to make the base even stronger to hinder easy laddering, let's look at some battlement options. To build a simple battlement around the roof of the base, perform the following steps. Build a window frame in front of the ladder hatch. Then, place a wall frame with outward sheet metal double door and a roof on top. Now jump down and place a roof on the side and then a window frame under. Do the same on the other side as well. Here we have effectively formed several gaps that will assist in spotting and engaging the enemy. You can now build this type of battlement around the base or even expand it further to have more space to move around. Bottom line is that there are several ways to build the battlements and shooting floors, and you will have to decide which option is most comfortable for you and your teammates. Same goes even for the tower design, which will largely depend on what purpose it is supposed to serve. This may include taking down helis, engaging enemies from far away, or even active raid mitigation. Last but not least, after shooting this video, it was brought to my attention that the loot rooms which were showcased as unlootable are in fact somewhat flawed and may be looted by knowledgeable raiders. This can be partly prevented by removing campfires before logging off. However, the raiders can still get boosted by their teammates to reach the loot. Although somewhat inconvenient, it is still possible. Moreover, gaining access to the TC allows the raiders to place new campfires as well. If these weaknesses outweigh the benefits of such loot rooms, feel free to adjust them to your preferred format. So there you have it, you asked and I sure hope I have delivered. If you like what you saw, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And whether you did or didn't enjoy the video, please do leave a comment in the comment section below, as I would really like to know what you think. As always, this was Rust Daddy, and may the next wipe be ever in your favor.